Major 2 qualifier week 2 predictions. Let's just hop right into it. Not much intro needed. Last week, I only got 3 out of the 10 correct. Absolutely horrible show. I can actually show you it real quick. Yeah, absolutely horrible showing. Pretty much every team I thought was going to win didn't win, obviously. I mean, 3 out of 7 is pretty bad. But let's just go right into this week and see what we can get done. First up, New York versus Florida. I'm going to go New York. I'm going to give them a 3-0. I think it might be a little bit bold, but I think New York is a much better team. So I think 3-0 is pretty, you know, they're definitely going to win in my opinion, but you know, I'm pretty bad at these predictions right now, so you never really know. OpTic versus Surge. I do think OpTic are going to have a bit of a honeymoon period with this new roster. I think, you know, they're going to be really trying to fry, especially to impress Scump, who's going to be watch partying these games, I believe. I think, you know, viewership is going to possibly be at like an all-time high for the CDL era with Scump watch partying. So I'm going to go 3-1 OpTic Texas. Seattle has also just looked really, really poor. I personally thought Seattle was going to do really well last week and just overall this season, but they're really bad online for some reason. So I am going to go OpTic. Toronto versus LA Thieves. Toronto's 9-3, LA's 5-6. I have a Huntsman shirt on right now. I thought I had a LA Thieves shirt on, but I'm gonna go Toronto either way. I'm gonna go 3-1. I think Ultra are one of the best teams, one of the strongest teams right now in the league, and I think they should be able to handle the Thieves pretty good. Vegas versus Boston. We can pull up the records. Both of them are under 500 record-wise. Both, you know, kind of around a 50% prediction mark for both of these teams based on what people are predicting. I'm personally thinking Vegas 3-2. I think Vegas is going to really keep turning some heads, and I think they're going to be a team that's actually going to be pretty surprising going forward. Although I don't know if they really have what it takes to, you know, win an event. London versus LA Thieves. Let's pull this up. Most people are going LA. I mean, London just don't look good. I agree. I'm going to go 3-1 LA Thieves. This London team is just like, they lose a series, they make a roster move, they lose a series, they make a roster move. So now Zero's out and Paul X is back in. It was previously Paul X out and Scraps in. So they're really just rotating through their AR players, seeing what's going to work. Maybe they'll get it to click now with this Scraps Paul X instead of Zero. But I'm going to go LA Thieves. OpTic versus Ultra is an interesting one. You could see more people are leaning towards Ultra. Obviously, Ultra have the better lineup. I do think it'll be Ultra. I think it'll probably go 3-2. Like I said, I do think OpTic could have a honeymoon period, and I do think they could turn up and win this, but I just think it's too hard to bet against Toronto at this point in time, just considering how good they're playing. So I'm going to go Toronto Ultra over OpTic. Then we have Minnesota Rocker versus Atlanta FaZe. Pull this up. Most people are obviously going to be thinking FaZe. These records are a lot closer than you would think. But if you know, I think if you looked at recent weeks, Rocker have really fallen off compared to how they were in the beginning. So I'm going to go 3-2. I do think this could be pretty close. I'm still not totally set on this FaZe team being like as dominant as FaZe obviously was in the past. So I do think this could be close. I think this is a game Rocker could win, but I'm definitely much more leaning towards FaZe. And then let me move my camera on over for the last row, the Sunday picks. Vegas versus London. I'm definitely thinking Vegas. Everyone else seems to be kind of agreeing with me here. I'm going to go Vegas 3-1. I don't know how I feel about this London team, seriously. I think something's not clicking. I think they either need to stick to one roster and see if they can get it to work, or they need to really make some big changes. But as of right now, I do think this Vegas team is actually looking like they might be able to maybe run an undefeated streak. If we take a little peep down here, I mean, OpTic and Subliners next week, those are tough games, but this week I do think they could go undefeated. Gorillas and Rocker, definitely an interesting matchup. You could see it's almost perfect 50-50. There's actually a little bit more people leaning towards the side of the Gorillas, which I do think is interesting. I don't really know about this series because the Gorillas are the team that I think are slightly trending up, where the Rocker are trending down. But when you look at the teams on paper, I do think the Rocker team is better. I am going to go Minnesota Rocker. I'm going to go Rocker 3-2. I think they're a team that is going to get wins, but they're also going to get losses. They are struggling in a bit. But I do think they could take on LAG. And last but not least, Atlanta FaZe versus New York Subliners, a matchup that I think is really, really good. More people are leaning towards FaZe than Subliners. I tend to doubt these Subliners a lot, so I'm gonna not doubt the Subliners. I'm gonna go NYSL 3. Let's go 3-1. I do doubt the subliners a lot, but this week I have them with 2 big wins. Obviously a 3-0 is a big win no matter who you're playing, and then anytime you beat FaZe is a big win. So 2 big wins for subliners for this week 2 of Major 2 qualifiers in my predictions. I'm gonna save these predictions, lock them in. They don't lock for another 5.5 hours. Or at least today's don't lock for another 5.5 hours. So I'm recording this at 8:30 in the morning Central Time. But yeah, hopefully I get some more of these right than 3 like I did last week. I'm feeling pretty confident about these. I think in terms of, you know, upset alert or maybe ones that could go differently than how I predicted it, I do think Surge could beat OpTic. I do think we could see maybe OpTic beat Ultra here, or you never know. I mean, Boston beating Vegas is definitely a possibility. And LAG beating Minnesota is also definitely a possibility. But this is kind of what we're looking at for my thing. Let me just move my camera real quick so you can get a full view of it one more time. This is what we're seeing. And yeah, let me know what you think. Who do you think is going to kind of come out on top after this week? And hopefully I'll see you all in the next video.